Hi folks, today I want to try out ChiliPeppr. ChiliPeppr is a graphical user interface for sending G-code to your G-code interpreter card for your CNC mill like grbl or TinyG. My DIY CNC mill is powered by a homemade grbl board. So I'll select the grbl workspace here. As you can see, ChiliPeppr is web browser based program written entirely in JavaScript, and it's multi-platform. It should be easily programmed or adapted by forking. It's open source. It's hosted on GitHub, as I think, and it's modular. I read about ChiliPeppr a bit before, and I watched some tutorial videos on YouTube, but I fiddled around a little bit, but I never tried it with my mill. So today really is the first test, and you can try it out with me together, and I'll see what I can do with it. It's very promising. Before I used the universal G-code sender, which worked very nice. I think it's still mainly written for sending G-code to grbl, but unfortunately the 3D preview doesn't work for me in my Linux machine, and that's why I'd like to try out something new, and I found ChiliPeppr. I'm very excited. It looks very nice, and it's a bit overloaded, I think, at first, but I'll try to find my way around. Most important, I think, it's browser based, so it's locked inside the browser. You might know that anything in a browser window should stay in there. It should be in its own little sandbox, so the web pages you browse cannot just arbitrarily grab stuff from your hard drive, alter things, install the dreaded keyloggers and the stuff alike. So everything a web page or anything in a web browser can do is access servers outside your machine, or maybe if you have local servers running, of course, they can access that. So that's the only way something in the browser can get outside the browser. And of course, that's very important for controlling your CNC, because you have to get access to that. So how can we do this? That's something I already figured out. Down here on the right side, you have to have something running called a serial port server. That's something running outside the browser, giving the browser or the JavaScript in this browser access to your serial port, via which the G-code is then sent to the mill. And so let's see what's it say here. Download serial port JSON server. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Click it, and what happens? Oh, it took me down here a little bit. Let's see. What's it say? Version 174. That's what I want. I got a Linux 32-bit. Click this. Save this file. Okay. It's already there. I go to my file explorer where the downloads reside. I check this is the newly downloaded file, and I unpack it. No. It should select the folder itself. Oh, I already did this before, so I'll replace it. Everything. And so I have a new folder. It's the serial port JSON server. I go in there. Come on. And in Linux, in my Kubuntu, I have this nifty feature in my Dolphin Explorer that I have a terminal down here right below my files, so I can say serial port server start, and I think that's it. The server started. It's opened a WebSocket on localhost and should be ready for action. So I go back to my ChiliPeppr and I think well, connect to host. See, it is connect to a local host or a remote host here. Did it say anything about where it opened the port? Local host. Well, I just highlight this, and I think in Linux I have this nice feature where I can just press the middle mouse button and it's pasted here, and I say connect, and wow, something happened. Not sure what happened. Does it say anything here? Ah, yes, I see. Can I enlarge this widget? No, I can't. But the server told ChiliPeppr that there are many ports on my machine, and now I surely have to choose which port my grbl well, Arduino custom grbl board is connected. I'll many serial ports listed here which I don't really have, so I go down the list. Oh, it might be this one, and I guess this is the baud rate, and my grbl runs at 9600 bauds. I say grbl, and maybe do I have the ticket here? Yes, that looks, oh wow, interesting. What happened? It seems it connected. It tells all my grbl settings here, or is it the terminal output of grbl? Serial port console. So this is, I see. Yeah, it looks like it connected to my grbl. There's maybe one thing I should say. I read about the serial port server, which is actually in itself a very, no, it's not running here. We don't need this window. Running here. The server we just started, it's an impressive piece of software because it does not only open the serial port and kind of forwards everything coming from the port to the WebSocket and vice versa from the browser forwarding stuff to the serial port. It also implements a buffer, and it knows about the specifics of grbl. So those of you who already work with grbl know that the buffer, the serial buffer on the board is very small, and you cannot put too much in it. The buffer will overrun and you lose steps and you damage your tools and bad things happen. So you basically, what you have to do, you can send a couple of commands, but then you have to wait for grbl to report and okay, so you know one line was processed and you can send the next one. And that protocol is actually implemented by the server, and above that the server also knows about the special characters that grbl knows that should be processed immediately, kind of bypassing the queue for the G code. These special characters are don't know what they are. Maybe well, it's a tile. It's V, Control X, and they're used to stop the machine, to pause the machine, and yeah, for quick accessing what grbl does or what your CNC machine does. And that is really impressive. The server knows about these protocol things on grbl, and kind of enables this ChiliPeppr to also use the machine specifics of the serial port interface. It's not just sending G-code; it is specifically interacting with grbl. And I believe, of course, if you run TinyG, you will know about the specifics of TinyG, because that was there before, and someone took the TinyG implementation and adapted it for grbl. Now, back to working with my CNC. First thing to do is, it's still an alarm stop because I just connected it and the machine doesn't know it's 0 offset. Believe I have to stop here. No, I just had to stop the recording because today is Halloween and I had to answer the door. Might happen a few times more today, but where was I? Alarm position. Usually I would have typed $X, I believe, $H to home my machine. This is the grbl widget. Oh, it has tooltips. Buffer, so other widgets can limit their blah blah. Feed hold, no. Cycle start, no. Verbose output, no. Soft reset, no. Options, probably. No, nothing happens here. No, that's for the widget. No webcam. Can I collapse that? Wow, okay. That was the serial port. It's running. Access. Nope. No. Larger view. It's nice, but I don't need that at the moment. Where's the homing button? Feed rate multiplier? Not yet. Hello? I just do it manually for now. I say $H and can you hear that? That's my CNC homing. So now I got an OK back and I got position 00445, which is probably due to the machine. No, it's the local coordinates I programmed last time. What am I gonna do today? Go to 0? No, we are at 0. 0 out, set position. Okay. I'll try jogging. We are jogging 1 millimeter steps. Why did that turn blue? I don't know. So now, wow, it moved 1 millimeter in X. Another millimeter. That's fantastic. So let's assume I'm not gonna mill anything today. You might have noticed I've got this pattern loaded last time already, and it kind of remembered. I mean, I had the whole tab closed, and I just before I started recording, I typed in. I went to the ChiliPeppr homepage, and it seems to have remembered what I loaded last time. So, but I'm not gonna mill this. I'll just pretend I want to mill it. And so first thing I would do is go down and lower my tool onto the tool surface, the workpiece surface, which I would usually do jogging because my machine, well, no, actually, even on machines with manual jogging enabled, you shouldn't do that because then grbl will not count the steps and doesn't know where it is in the machine coordinate system. So once you use grbl, you can only jog via the G-code sum. So I go down here in course steps, 1 millimeter steps, and suppose I'll be close to the surface, then I would switch to 0.1 millimeter smaller steps, and then maybe I'll use, well, 0.1 would be sufficient for milling this type of wood. 0.01 is very fine. I would probably take a piece of paper between my end mill tip, the tip of the end mill, and the surface of the workpiece, and lower the tool very slowly until I couldn't move the paper anymore. And then I would have to tell grbl that this is 0 because my G-code file is prepared in such a way. I don't know if we can see it. Oh, what happens here? I can zoom in by scrolling. I can rotate with a left click and see if we can see this here. This is supposed to be the tool tip, the end mill, the tip of the end mill, and I think, well, why is it not moving anymore? Hello? Ah, kind of had a hiccup there. Maybe my machine is actually taking too much processor power to record this and at the same time do the complicated 3D math in here. Although my graphics card should have OpenGL and stuff. It's a pretty decent machine. Should be able to do this, but it feels kind of slow and it's laggy. But we can see surface is 0, so we'll kind of have to tell grbl that we're not at z33 point something, but that this is actually the 0 position, the surface of my workpiece. And let's assume I know that this XY position is the 0 corner down here. Let me okay. It's my G-code is arranged in such a way that it assumes that Y is in the negative direction. So actually I would have to jog Y a good fair bit in, because right now my machine couldn't move only Y in positive direction. So once I'd started this job, my machine would immediately run into the limit switches and the job wouldn't finish. So, is there any way I could move this large distance a little bit faster? I suppose I could just type in some manual G-code here. Let's see, I go G0 for rapid movement and I'm at Y5 now. This is workpiece is 200 and something millimeters, so I'll go to 201 and say go. Nothing happens. Error, unsupported port. Oh, of course not. I just use the up arrow and I get the last command, and of course I have to say G0Y 201 and whoops, hard limit. No, it's a soft limit. I didn't move anywhere, so I couldn't have hit a soft limit, a hard limit. So it must have been a soft limit. But why is that? Let's see. Reset? That was not reset. It tells me down here, reset to continue. Just so grbl knows I know what I'm doing. Soft reset. Okay. So it's reset, but it's still locked, and I don't want to do homing again. I know where I am. I didn't lose steps, so I'll just do X for unlocking. So it says caution, you unlocked and stuff, but I know where I am. So why did this command take me into the soft limit? Let's see if it's the soft limits. Soft limits 22. $22 equals 0. Ignore the soft limits. And I go, what should be wrong about 201? We're at 180, so that's only 2 centimeters to go. What? That seemed to work, so that's great. So we need to zero our machine, our local coordinate system, and I think I saw this in here. It's a drop down. Go to 0 on this axis. No, we don't want to go to 0. We want to tell the machine that this is 0. So 0 out axis. And I don't know G28 very well. I know G92 does the zeroing, but the machine forgets. Unzero out. Okay. No, we don't want to home this axis. I don't know if my grbl version even does that. I think it's 09A. I'll try this one. Oops, it set everything to 0. And I thought it should only zero out this one axis. It doesn't really matter for me now, because this is the 0 position I want to start at. And let's say the last command, it's sent. Oh wow, I think there's a programming error still in this widget, because this is what I clicked, and down here obviously I can see everything that the widget send and do, and this widget sent the G92X0Y0 Z0. Instead it should have only sent the Y0, because it told me in the menu to only zero this one axis instead of the whole coordinate system. So beware of that. The grbl interface widget seems to be not fully operative now already, but doesn't matter. So it's a good thing to try it out before. And while I'm speaking of trying out, before I run this code on my real machine, there's another cool thing. I can run it on the simulator. It says here simulator. There's a play button. There's speed up for faster and real time simulation, 3D viewer, visualize your G code in 3D. Well, I see that. The I tells me view extent of G code object. I think, oops, it zoomed in. I'll zoom out. I think this button is to bring the full extent to the screen, and the screen doesn't know about the widgets overlaying here, so it uses the whole browser window. There's a camera symbol. Look at the tool head toggle button. If toggled on during the sample or real run of G code, the 3D view will always place the tool head at the center. Toggling this off means the camera will not position onto the tool head. Okay, no, I don't want the camera to follow the tool head. I don't follow my tool head. So, and this is grid size. Default seems fine. There's some more options. Looks like I could turn down the frame rate. It's at the default 30 frames per second. Let's see if my machine can do it. Oops, I clicked in the 3D view and it how can I move this? See this? It's still moving, although I stopped moving the mouse. So I use the right mouse button now and I can move my view. I'll just try the play button. Okay, now I see. Toolhead moves up, moves down, drills first hole. Let's see if I can change the speed while it's running. Oh, just clicking once, twice, it's now at 100 times its original speed. Moves around, blah, blah, blah. Stop. Okay, so simulation seems to run fine. My real machine is zeroed in. Now I'll try to run the G-code. I read also that the ChiliPeppr can start the G-code at any line number, which might be a little bit dangerous, I read also, and I want to make sure that it's starting at 1. But there's nothing to indicate me where it might start. I'll just hope it starts at position 1. I just hope. Maybe I press the rewind. Ah, there's a tick mark at line 1. That is promising and reassuring. What are these arrows? There's no tooltip on them. Reset might have done the same thing. So I really hope, I think, I'm set and ready to go. I'll press play, the great moment. Ah, tool moves up, moves across. Okay, I can see it's okay. It's at the first hole. It's lowering. Okay. Also something I just noticed, usually my machine can start the spindle by itself, but I created this G-code before I had this feature, so I didn't put spindle start in the G-code. It's a good thing, so next time I really want to mill this piece out, I have to turn the spindle on myself. But now I'm doing an air run, so that's no problem. I'm not damaging anything. It's a funny sound when it's drilling the holes. It's moving in arcs. What feed rate am I running at? Does it tell me anywhere? Is there any F command here? I wonder. It's an air run, so I'll just try to increase the speed because I think my machine can do faster than I programmed this G-code file. Ah, so it should be running at 110% now. But I don't really know. There's a resonance there. It doesn't increase the speed now on this line because this line is one G-code command. And as far as I know, the ChiliPeppr doesn't change the speed while it's running. It's only scaling really the F commands in the G-code. I don't even know if it inserts new F commands into existing lines. But what I know for sure, it can change any lines that are already in the buffer for grbl or in the buffer of the JSON serial server. So I don't really know when this feed rate override takes effect. Okay, that was impressive. I just had you on pause because there was another trick-or-treater, and while the machine was running, I just wanted to stop it because it makes so much noise and the door is right next door. So I pushed the pause button and it paused immediately, which is impressive because usually, and that is also for the universal G-code sender, it will only pause after the buffer runs out. The G-code sender would just stop or pause sending new G-code lines to the machine, and those lines that were still in the buffer of grbl were still being processed until the buffer was empty. So pause on universal G-code sender was not immediate. And I think what happened here is that it stopped sending new lines and it simultaneously sent the pause command. And I really hope that if I unpause now, pause command is feed hold. It's called feed hold. And so there are still lines in the buffer of grbl, but grbl itself is on feed hold. And I hope when I unpause now, it will resume the currently active G-code. It was just processing before I pressed pause, and ChiliPeppr will resume sending new lines. I'll try it. Yes, sounds good. I'm a little bit irritated because this button seems to be shaded still. Runs the corner, arc command, and now we run a straight line, so only one axis is moving, different sound now. So I really wonder when the feed rate override takes effect. There's really no way I can tell because I don't see what feed rate it's actually going at. It has a little statistics down here, lines sent, showing lines sent, duration, start. That seems to be my local time here, 6 o'clock. Duration is not accurate. There's no estimation. Jesus, I think for this video I'll stop it for now. Now I showed you it. I pressed pause and it paused almost immediately. It has to decelerate, but that's really fast at these low feed rates. Deceleration is almost immediate. So for this video, I'm not going to show you the air run of this whole project. I think I'm almost done. This I would have loved to see a remaining time down here. It says remaining here, but this is 0, so it seems it doesn't know really how long the job will still take. And what else is there? There's grbl, there's auto level for PCBs. I watched a video for that. That looks very promising. I'm gonna try that some other day. Macros might be handy. This is my grbl workspace. JS cut. I watched a video for JS cut. That is a really impressive piece of software by itself. You can paste SVG drawings in there, and it's much more comfortable and has more options than the Inkscape SVG plugin for creating G-code out of directly out of Inkscape. So next time I'll draw something up in Inkscape and I'll use JS cut to produce my G-code, and obviously they are linked in some way. How do I get this window to disappear? I click here again. Okay. Anything else? I tried the manual input. It has a command history with the up arrows. What's this arrow here? Oh, that's also a little command history. Single port mode, whatever that means. It's probably it's the view of the one active serial port. I have no webcam at the moment. Well, I have one, but it's not pointing at my CNC, so I don't want to use this widget now. Yeah, it would have been nice to see the current feed rate to know if my override was in effect or not. Gonna play with this homing stuff and axis zeroing out a little bit more some other day. and work coordinate systems would have been nice to be displayed here as well, and having a choice which work coordinate system, because grbl knows 6 different work coordinate systems, and I actually had some of them programmed for my special PCB holding jig. So when I fixed the PCB to my machine in this jig, I could immediately go to 0 on the PCB board without trying out. And yeah, those, I think it's the G54, 55 commands, and would have been nice to see them here somewhere. But all in all, this seems to be very, very nice piece of software, and I guess I'll ditch the Universal G-Code Sender just because of this nice 3D preview and the prospect to alter this software by myself, because I think it might be easier to do it in JavaScript, and with this modular architecture and the widgets. I did try to modify the Universal G-Code Sender once, but you had to install NetBeans, and that didn't work right out of the box. And I think I got to the point where I tried to compile the Java code of the Universal G-Code Sender, and there were some errors there again, and I didn't have some libraries or whatever. I didn't get the serial port interface to work, and just too much hassle. I stopped. I didn't pursue the thought of altering the G-Code Sender for my needs or contributing back to the main branch. And that is something I might actually do with the ChiliPeppr. It's probably some work to figure out how to fork and how to program in JavaScript, but I'm pretty confident that it might be really easy. I'll try that and report back later. So I think that's it for today. Bye, folks.